Hi, and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. Actually over in Canary Wharf at the moment, as you can take a look around. The water there. Lovely part of the world, actually, over here for a little meeting. But it's time to get into the transfers. Only 1 day to go. 1 day to go, and that is it. The transfer window will be closed, and no more players will be able to come in this January transfer window. So will any business get done? That is going to be the critical thing. Of course, Arsenal have made a sign-in. Pablo, we're all very happy to see him come in. I think every Arsenal fan knew that we desperately needed a centre-back, even though some encouraging news sort of coming out today that Mustafi's injury that he picked up the other day is probably not going to be as serious as first thought. I'm not sure how long it's going to keep him out for, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a long-term injury. However, Mikel Arteta did say, even before that, you know, they're looking for a centre-back, and they have got their man. Pablo Mari announced yesterday, did the interviews as well on the Arsenal website, and I like the things that he had to say. He said that he's happy to be here today. These are his quotes. "I'm happy to be here today and to have signed for a big club." You heard that, Tottenham fans. "I'm going to do my best to help my teammates and the club. When I spoke to my agent, it was a big thing," he said, "that Arsenal were interested in me. This is one of the best clubs in the world, so I'm absolutely delighted to be joining." And of course, there was a lot of hiccups along the way in getting this signing over the line. There's a lot of talk coming out of Brazil that Flamengo, the club that we signed him for, felt bullied by Arsenal. That was one of the reasons, apparently, why the deal got held up, because they felt bullied. They felt that Arsenal had tried to move the goalposts on the deal. You know, Arsenal, who originally were talking about a loan deal, was then starting to say that, well, actually, we want to buy him, but we want to buy him on the cheap. Flamengo dug their heels in. That's why the whole thing was looking like it could possibly fall apart. But it was player power that got the deal over the line. Basically, Mari said to Flamengo, "Listen, I want to go to Arsenal." I think it was a masterstroke that Edu had got him over here, got him to the training ground. He'd seen all the facilities. He obviously knows that Arsenal's a big club. You hear him saying that himself. But otherwise, maybe the deal could have collapsed, because Flamengo are apparently very angry with how Arsenal had tried to sort of move the goalposts a bit on the deal. Listen, I don't mind that with Arsenal. I know there was a lot of frustration on it, but I've said over the years, I want to see Arsenal aggressive in the transfer market. And definitely at the moment, there's a bit of aggression to the way in which we do deals, although it is a bit of a shame that at the moment it does seem to be mainly loan deals Arsenal are looking to do. And that could have a lot to do with the fact that we're not in the Champions League at the moment, and we're not flush with the money, especially after FFP that we've been over the years, even though that over the years we didn't spend it. Now, the big one that could happen before the transfer window closes is Cedric, or more commonly known as Cedric, when he plays for Portugal and when he plays for Southampton. Of course, he's a right back, can also play on the left, but predominantly a right back, and plays for Southampton, 28 years of age, 33 caps for Portugal. So listen, a very experienced player, has played for Southampton multiple times, actually out injured at the moment with a knee injury for Southampton, but has featured regularly in the team. Southampton wouldn't ordinarily want to be parting with him, but his contract is running down. He's going to be a free agent in the summer, which means he'll be able to walk away and do any deal with any club he likes, or any club that wants to do a deal with him. And Arsenal are very interested in taking him on a loan. Now, the proposed deal looks to be a loan deal till the end of the season, and then obviously they'll then have the option to buy him, because, you know, he would have been at the club, so, you know, they'll be able to see what he's been like and see if it'd be worthwhile buying him. The loan deal is said to going to probably be round about the £5 million mark. That's when you sort of add up the fee that they'd have to pay Southampton, which is said to probably going to be about £1 million. Then add in all of his wages, add in fees for agents, etc., etc. It'll probably round up to be around about that amount of money. It's very interesting on this deal that Cedric, his agent is Jorge Mendes. Now, Mendes is an agent that once upon a time Arsenal never used to deal with. We never used to go near any sort of players that was sort of linked with Jorge Mendes. But now it's a new era. Of course, Raul Sanelli's in place. Sanelli's said to be a good friend of Mendes, and we are now getting deals done with these type of agents. Remember, it was Mendes who brokered the deal that brought Nicolas Pepe to Arsenal. Once upon a time, we wouldn't have been able to be doing these type of deals. So it's very interesting that Mendes is involved. But will Suarez sign for Arsenal? There's a lot of speculation. It could happen today, it could happen tomorrow before the window closes, or are Arsenal just going to say to themselves, let's just wait until the summer? We could get him for absolutely nothing. We've got Maitland-Niles as cover, we've got Bella in there, let's just hang on and wait. It's going to be really interesting to see what Arsenal do on this one. There is a lot of talk that they will try and move for the loan deal before the window closes, but it's going to be interesting. Let's see what happens with that one. Then there's some of the deals that we were trying to get that are not going to happen. There's Bruno Guimaraes. Now, remember, we spoke extensively about Guimaraes on the show. Arsenal have been linked with him. He plays for Atletico Paranaense over there in Brazil. Is another Edu sort of signing, or potentially was going to be. That is definitely not going to be happening. He's signing for Lyon. I spoke about Lyon a couple of days ago, but it's been confirmed that he has signed for them for £16.9 million. This is where Arsenal are in a bit of problems at the moment, in that they're not really looking to spend money like cash up front in this January transfer window. They're looking to do loan deals. They wanted to do a loan deal for Guimaraes, but Lyon have come in with the hard cash and they've missed out. Of course, Lyon are in the Champions League. Arsenal are not. This is the consequence of when you're not in the Champions League, and this is one of the reasons why we desperately need to get back into it. Dani Ceballos, there's still talk about that today. I said yesterday that I think the likelihood is that he will be staying. It was significant that he played the other day in the game against Bournemouth. His tweets after the game seemed to intimate that he wants to stay. But there's still a lot of links today linking him with a move away. There's lots of suggestions coming out that he's desperate to go somewhere where he's going to play on a regular basis. But I still think that we should be hanging on to Ceballos. Listen, Dani Ceballos, and I don't want to use this phrase, but he could be like a new signing because he's hardly played, has he? And we all know that he's an exciting player. We know that Arsenal are a bit short in that midfield area. Maybe Dani Ceballos, a rejuvenated Dani Ceballos, a Dani Ceballos who's going to be desperate to get into the Spanish national team for the Euros. Maybe he will be like a new signing. So for me, it makes sense to hang on to Dani Ceballos, and I fully, you're right, mate. I fully expect us to do so. Final one I'm going to tell you about is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. We still talk about it every single day. Aubameyang. It was interesting to see your comments yesterday. Going through the comments, the majority of you agree with me that we need to hang on to this guy. He's a goal scorer, and we need to hang on to him if we're to, listen, we could still, there's an outside possibility that we could still mount a little challenge to try and get into the Champions League. But however, it looks likely now that he's definitely going to stay. Barcelona is said to be the club that were really, really interested in him, and we're going to mount a possible 50 million bid, but it looks like they've definitely moved away from that now. You see yesterday that they made this big bid for Richarlison from Everton. £85 million for Richarlison. Good player, Brazilian international and that, but 85 million for Richarlison. And it's been rejected as well by Everton. Just makes me think, right, like Martinelli, what is he worth? What will Martinelli be worth if he keeps doing what he's doing now? What would he be worth like in a year's time, 2 years' time? I mean, it's frightening, the sort of money that's being bandied around. But I think Aubameyang will be staying. We've seen off the Barcelona bid. I think the only other team that might come in might be a PSG but it looks like Arsenal are determined to hang on to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and that will be good news for the club. So 1 day to go. We're going to see what happens. Hopefully, we can get at least one more signing in, maybe even two. I think Arsenal are on the lookout for loan signings. It's pretty obvious. But let's wait and see what happens between now and tomorrow. Of course, we'll keep you updated here on AFTV. Thanks for watching the show, and we'll be back tomorrow.